how can we improve the experience for students? Because a lot of what we discuss and first of all, actually, we should ask ourselves this question that do we do career fairs or do we do college fairs? Because they're two very different things. I think most of the ones that we've attended are college fairs because usually there are universities and the conversations that are happening on these tables are about how to apply, what are the programs offered and things like that. So I think we've thought about this title of how can we transform college fairs into career fairs? How can we make it more fruitful for all the stakeholders? You know, there are students and parents who are involved, there are universities that are involved, and there are school counselors, school teachers who are involved. So, of course, I have Vandana ma'am and Pragati ma'am here who are with me. And what we're trying to do through this session is to bring some of the challenges, bring some of the topics, and you know, when we were thinking of what should be the outcome of the session, we don't really have an ideal model. I think we want to use this platform to discuss and really come up with something that works for all of us. So, Pragati ma'am, you want to start?
So hi, good afternoon everyone. After lunch, as we can see, the audience is like a very small number. It would be wonderful if all of you can come in front. If you want to sneak out in between, don't worry, we won't mind. We are all counselors. We know that, you know, we want to experience maybe another session which is happening at the same time. So feel free to walk out at any time. And to our online audience, hi everyone. We're really looking forward to a lot of interaction here. Rather than presentation. So as Vikram was saying, this is something which is very close to our hearts. I'm completing 25 years in counseling this year. So there is seriously a sense of disillusionment which we as counselors also have. And we constantly question ourselves that are college fairs really useful? Do we really want to do college fairs at this stage, you know, in our school's life or our lives? Are they adding value to our students or are they not adding any value to our students? Do they really do what they are supposed to do, or can the student go on a website, go through a brochure and get all the information that they need? And then they connect directly one-on-one. So we are going to, you know, reflect on these practices as a group. I think, you know, all three of us, yes, we will be leading it, but we would want all of you to participate, raise questions, and, you know, let's have a debate if needed rather than just a discussion, because we may have all different points of view about what works and what doesn't work for us. So I'm really looking forward to a lot of discussion in this session.
Yeah, and actually, you know, all of us sitting here, many of them are familiar. And we've had these coffee table conversations with actually all of you about how should the ideal model be, what should schools do. I think let's use this platform to create that, you know, yes. Can we go to the next slide?
So the objectives of this particular session, like what Vikram said, and how we curated a fair last year during the COVID was, it was a lot of brainchild that we put in. It was a small conversation that I approached him for some other purpose, and the conversation came into play, and it took a very long conversation, and we really came to a very, very productive thing that I had never imagined. I think that was the charisma of collaboration. Small conversation leading to this. So the career fair that we do, I mean, the IC3 mission is what to study, where to study, and how to make it happen. And where we all are working together, we as schools, especially in my context, I would give a lot of weightage to career fairs. Like Pragati says at this point, is it important for her to have or not? And here the perspectives may be different. But personally, I feel that it is one of the most important thing that a student experiences in the school life, which we never experienced. And how, if I was there, I go back to my school time, and if I got such an opportunity, I feel I wouldn't have been here, but maybe some other place, because I didn't get that guidance, and I didn't get that platform where I could have interacted. So that was one conversation where we came with an idea that a career fair and a college fair, these are two different terms which are actually loosely used. Universities come, they give the presentations, table fairs, exchange the brochures, collect the information, and then the students go. So over the years, what has happened? Students have lost that interest. Students don't feel that excitement in going, and meeting the representatives, which is actually not good. Why are we putting in so much of effort, and why are so many delegates coming, spending their time, money, everything? Where is that purpose? That purpose was dissolved, and we came to that idea that instead of a college fair, can we name it as a college and career fair, where the student finds some track or direction in a meaningful and an honest, ethical manner. This was the entire purpose with which we launched this particular session as well.
And what we are going to do, the flow is like this, right? First, we really want to talk about objectives from a school's perspective and from a university's perspective. What are some of the challenges that we are facing, both of us as stakeholders, and what are some of the pointers that we feel have worked? I have recently, I visited a lot of schools, and there are some schools that are actually getting it right. As I said, there's no one ideal model that will work for all schools, but some pointers that we can take away from this session. So, ma'am, you want to go through the objectives?
Yeah, as Vandana was saying that it works in different ways for different schools. It works in different ways for different students, for universities as well. So, it does, as while we were discussing as to what to talk about and what would be meaningful for the audience to take back with them is a workable model. But what are we trying to achieve through this session? Yes, there is direct, interaction with the universities. There is an awareness which is created. But the major question which comes to me is it for me? A student who doesn't want to go to a particular university, in today's day and age, many of us are parents. Otherwise, we are all working with students and young people. They have very short attention spans. They may not know everything, but they feel they know everything. And they feel that if I want to go to XYZ university, I can do a quick Google search, I'll come to the website and I'll get the information. In reality, they are lost. But we need to create that purpose. Is it for me or is it not for me? This is for the students and the counselors and the universities, all stakeholders actually. It's not just for the students. Do you want to take over? Understanding. It's a dynamic process, guys, okay? So you can raise your hand and add.
So the first objective, what we realized is that to create the timely awareness in the students. Now, timely awareness can also be different for different people. For us as school counselors, it is like students should know right from 9-10 that what are the changing trends, so that at least they are also aware of the changing trends of the great establishing colleges in India. Students feel that it's Delhi University after 12, still that is there in majority of the cases. Students also feel that fine, after 12th, we will fill MU forms and get into the colleges or otherwise some local colleges. But they are deserving students, and if they right from the beginning, they are little sown the seeds of what it is, how it is helping the seniors, how is it going to help me in future, will actually help the students in a very meaningful manner. So generally what we do in our school is also that whenever there are fairs, we would involve 90s as well, 20s as well. They would listen to the introductions and the number of universities and see the various names of universities, and then we would send them back. Then they are not required for table discussions, because one-on-one discussions are more meaningful for 11th and 12th standard. Otherwise, what happens is that the universities are also crowded with students of 9th and 10th. You get over with your brochures there itself, and then comes the 11th and 12th. And I think that dilutes the purpose. So timely awareness right from the beginning doesn't mean that you directly interact, students directly interact, but also that they know how is the trend in the education changing. How is it now half and half? Half and half means half classroom, then half they have to participate outside, get their hands dirty, get into some projects. Where will they get those projects? what are those places where they will get these experiences to try their hands on and be employment ready instead of being high degree achievers and still unemployed. So that is one awareness that we need to create through these fairs where we all come into play.
Can we go to the next slide? So this is really from a counselor's perspective, right? And we've added, from my perspective, I think as all my university fellow colleagues would agree, I think one of the most important things we go to for these fairs is to create uniqueness about the university. Right now, in the morning, there was a session which talked about the crowd of information, the overwhelming information that's available. Most of the university representatives talk the same language. We all say we are interdisciplinary. We all say we have faculty from Oxford and Harvard. We all say we have project-based learning. So how do you actually create uniqueness in students' mind about your own university? So I think that's one very important objective that we're trying to attain. Of course, direct interaction is one very big benefit. But I think overall, as outreach people, I feel the role of outreach is to inform and not to influence. So we are also trying to increase the pool of students who apply to new age universities. At the end, whether they apply to Ahmedabad University or not is not really our objective. Our objective is whether they're making the right decision about how to select a university. If we can achieve that, and when we say aware students, these are students who understand that rankings are not the end of it. You have to really look at the curriculum, you have to look at faculty, you have to look at whether, Oxford might be the best university in the world, but it might not be the best for every student. So are the students understanding of how to take this decision? We also want to diversify our pool of students. That's why we go to tier 2, tier 3 cities in India. We go to different kinds of schools. For us, it's very easy as outreach managers or recruitment managers to go into IB schools, go into international schools because they have counselors. They're very open to hearing from universities. But we want to fight to get into a Kendriya Vidyalaya or a Jawaharlal Nehru, Navodaya. The reason is we want all kinds of students to have access to the education we have. Right? So diversifying our pool is one very important factor. We also want to build trust and work with schools. I think this is also one of the important points. And at the end, I think all of us are trying to help students to make an informed decision. Next. We now come to quickly challenges that both of us face as stakeholders.
These challenges are real and they are genuine, and it's on both the sides. Universities have difficulty reaching us, and we have difficulty sieving out which ones to take up and which ones not to take up. So whether it is important or not, that's not a debate. It is important. It is required. We have to do it. But the problem genuinely is that we have so many requests, and I'm sure the problem is on the other side with universities too. They are getting too many no's. And we need to delve into why that is happening. Why are we not able to deal with the issue? We'll delve into it a little more when we move towards, an ideal model for all of us. So it's a genuine challenge. Like, especially me, I've not done even one university fair this year. Honestly, surprising,
and
right?
they're all complaining about it.
Yeah, universities are complaining about it, but we even otherwise would be referring universities. We even otherwise would be looking out for universities which match our students. But the challenge is, how do I say no without spoiling my relationship with, say, Vikram and Ahmedabad University? How do I say no to Kanchi without spoiling my, relationship? Tomorrow, what if my student is going to go to that university? How will I even approach? So it's a genuine challenge on both the sides. You want to? Fifth point? Great. Another thing is, I'm very conscious of the fact when universities visit me, do they want numbers, which we feel they want, or do they really want to meet those 5 students who will actually apply? We have this issue, I think all of us counselors. How many of us are counselors here? Okay. And universities? It's a genuine heart-to-heart conversation. No filters, guys. Please speak. We will ultimately come to a solution if we are able to come across with our challenges. So we are really worried whether, when you come with all your expenses, you spend money. That is something which, a lot of counselors are mindful about. You spend money, you spend your time, you come to our campus and you meet only 2 students and go back. Is it really worth your effort, worth your time, worth your money? Instead of that, can I look for an alternative? So I'm looking for, hi Samir. So are we equating success with footfall? We are, right? That is why you see so many 8s and 9 students and 10s. Your philosophy is different. So I'm not, if the philosophical view is that awareness and then don't pick up all the brochures and run away, the younger ones are really excited about all those colorful brochures, right? So in the race to increase footfall, is it really helping them or is it a loss for the grade 11, 12 students? So we need to talk about that. My biggest challenge is to motivate my students to attend. We are a really wonderful school. We are very different. All the universities who have visited us would know who we are and our philosophy and our vision. But how do I motivate the students to participate in 10 fairs in a year? Okay, 20 online events advertised every month. Then we have one-on-one sessions on essay writing. Like at least 10 people approach us and counselors just correct me if I'm wrong. We do get those many emails. So how do I motivate my students to attend all those events knowing that universities are looking for footfall and numbers? So it's a dilemma. There will always be those 4 or 5 students who are genuinely, keenly interested. Yeah? Universities, how many of you agree with this challenge? Lot of you, right? It's value for time and money that all of us are looking for. Are we getting the same thing that we are getting on a website? We have these 5 programs. These are our collaborations. This is our fee structure. These are the scholarships we give out. But I want to know what is the profile of the student who will get that admission. I want to know what are the things that you are looking on an application which will do the transition from to school to that particular university. So we are not looking for, the students are not looking for what is on a brochure or a website. They genuinely don't want that. Most of us sitting over here means that our students are aware because the school has a counselor. That means there is awareness. They want to move to the next level. So that's, I've touched upon 4. The 5th one is really important. Vandana will talk about it.
Thank you, Pragati. So when we say that seeing market in students, this comes from my own experiences. 3 case studies that I will really share, which have happened in my school, and I really want all of us to know. It's not to blame or not to put a question mark on anybody, but something that we need to really ponder upon. Number 1, there was a student who was too good at designing. She was so fond of each and everything that she did, and when she visited the fair, do not know which university she went to meet, and she was told, we don't have the dedicated designing department, but we have this small course. You can definitely come. We have this scholarship, that scholarship, and then you can do masters in a nice designing college. We will help you. Today, that student is still struggling. I think these are some anecdotes that put a question mark on we who are suggesting, we who are conducting and calling everybody as trust friends, and these are some things that have ruined the life also, which is not our mission at all. We are collaborative team, and let us be very honest, if we do not have anything that the child could benefit from, we could be little fair that this is not me. So please, that would have been very much a honest gesture, I would say, right?
No, absolutely. And I think these are very, very fair points.
These are, and then secondly, some students, come and ask later that, ma'am, so and so person collected so many email addresses and now my inbox is just flooding. So these are some things that are putting the distrust on the school counselors, the school, the process, and ultimately I think in the institution also, that did they come to just gather the information? So is this not a like seeing market in a student? And the third very important thing that comes from the alumni of a particular university. The student was placed in a good university, and after coming says, ma'am, I'm totally blown away. It's not what we talked about. It's not what we heard about. It was not that I was told about. And the child is like hassled. Even the parents are like little worried. Should we change or so? So can we make this process a very healthy process where the student goes with very organic information which will help him throughout the life? So this is something that we need to, collaboratively work upon, right?
No, absolutely. When we were working on these points, it's very hard hitting sometimes for me to accept and say yes, because, but it is true. A lot of us, when we go to university fairs, I think we're only worried about collecting information of students. We are, and many of us, ma'am, judge university fairs on footfalls. But I think that's changing also. I think we'll come to the solutions a little later, but on majority, I think these points are valid. Next slide, please. Yes.
Please.
One big challenge, and I think this is probably what counselors need to speak to parents, universities need to speak to parents, is this idea that everything that you learn, immediately after your grade 12th or even before your grade 12th, is somehow connected to a career itself. I think a lot of people change what they initially get into, and to believe that, by doing this, you will become this kind of a person, in a way is also challenging, because we are putting a thought in their mind that everything leads to a particular career. I think the idea that you only look at career versus looking at learning, because the future world, there is no career, there is only learning. The more you learn, the more possibility of careers that you will have. And I think everybody is doing a disservice to the student by saying, this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this, and then this is the career that you can take off on. And I think we need to step back and tell the child that no, invest in learning broadly, deeply, and you'll find a career eventually. So I think that conversation needs to change a little bit. That's what I think.
Thank you. Advice well taken.
No, absolutely. Let us go through some of the other, let's go to this slide and then we'll open to some of the suggestions. So from a university perspective, university representatives perspective, I think, one of the things we faced is that when we go to these career fairs, I think I was attending Kanchi's session also in the morning, there's no preparation done from some schools, unfortunately. Students come to these fairs and they ask, is this after grade 12? They don't even know that there are universities. Many times they ask us, do you have anything after grade 10th? Many times they don't know where they've come to. I think, and I have actually had the privilege of, I was with Kanchi in Karthik's fair, and I saw the level of preparation that had been done. I think as counselors, at least in schools that have full-time counselors, this is extremely important to, sort of create awareness about what to expect of a career fair. How can you make the most out of a career fair? And I understand that as school counselors, I have recently went to a career fair in Bangalore, and it was a 1.5 hour fair, out of which there was a 1 hour, 10-minute panel discussion, 20 minutes, and we had to speak to 500 students. And in that, they were sent for lunch, and they had to come back in 5 minutes, and they had buses. And the reason is not the counselor. The reason is because the school management absolutely did not agree to give even a single class missed. And they wanted to fit everything in a break. So I understand the challenges that counselors also face from the management of the school, from the principals, but somewhere we'll have to make more effort to prepare students well for a fair, right? Turnouts, ma'am already spoke about. For us, and especially for some of us who believe in counseling-based approach in student recruitment, for us numbers don't matter as much. It really is the 10, 15, 5 students who we've spoken to who genuinely are interested in applying to us. A lot of times when students come to us, and they say, I want to do economics. The first question is, and usually that I ask is, why do you want to do it? I think the conversation is both way. You will also have to ask students to sort of get them to understand them better before you counsel. Unfortunately, in many universities, the university representatives themselves don't understand the offerings of the university. How much time are we investing in understanding how are we unique? How is the pedagogy? I think that's extremely important. Prioritizing visitors. Can I please stand here and on behalf of all universities request all schools to please send your grade 12 students first. We are happy to talk to grade 8s and 9s, but please, please, please send grade 12s before, not because we want to influence them and take all the students to our universities, but it's just we are talking constantly for hours and we lose energy. And sometimes these fairs are hosted in open auditorium where there's no air conditioning, you're talking constantly, there's sometimes no water available. So I think some things help us. So send your senior school students who need advising the most. And then you can follow up with your junior school students. We're happy to talk to them. One other thing is budgetary constraints. Many universities now have very lean outreach teams, right? We have no marketing spends. Very a lot of universities in India, like my university, we don't spend a penny on advertising. We don't do any print marketing. We don't do very little digital marketing. We're not like other universities. So we also have budgetary constraints. So a lot of times when we are going to a tier 2 or a tier 3 city, it's hard for us to go 5 times, 10 times a year. So I think how can we make the most efficient use of a visit is also something that we can look at. And one more thing I've realized is, again, this is connected to the first point, that students know very little about visiting universities. Most of the times the questions they ask us is, what is Ahmedabad University? What are the courses offered? How to apply? I think if there is prep done enough about who's coming, and we'll talk about some of these solutions in the next slides, but I think these are largely the challenges. But anybody wants to add any other challenge, any other university representative?
Can we just take Sameer's point? He had a lovely point.
Yes.
Started making my notes like a typical teacher. Forgive me for that. I know in my last avatar, I was very active in counseling, and I have a lot of dear friends and mentors like Kanchi who's sitting here. While career fairs and everything else becomes extremely important from your job point of view, and I think for some sanity of schools to publish once a month report that we've done this, we've done that. I know Soma is also smiling. But I think the human-centeredness of the entire process is missing. We don't see universities as humans, as schools and counselors. We use them as visitors and gateway to information. And I don't think necessarily not all universities understand these are kids and not commodities, right? So what I used in my past avatar in Bangalore, I was with Legacy School Bangalore, I started filtering out families and children who are interested in particular university. I know Kanchi's done one-on-one also with my kids, and some of them are with Kanchi, top scorers. And I know 3 of my kids have gone to Ahmedabad. And to your point, sir, 2 are extremely happy. The 3rd is extremely unhappy because she felt she'll find all her solutions in the university. So what we used to do is 5 kids who are interested in Ahmedabad University or Plaksha University, their families would get an email saying, what is Plaksha, what is Ahmedabad, what are the courses available, kindly do your pre-reading with family come. And then, whether that's Vikram or Kanchi, they're having a one-on-one conversation with human beings and not the crowd. And that really worked well. And I'm sure the yield was much higher in those contexts and conversations. And I remembered when my successor has come and taken over, we just called universities and tried to know each other humanly. Who are you? What are your interests? Rather than talking about college counseling, I think all that information is available online. So I think we need to see university people as humans who travel 200 days in a year and another 100 days recuperating, we must respect them as individuals, humans, who are a gateway to a next level of education. So I think if we do a little prep in terms of, and I think Karthik will be happy to share his resources. He's fantastic. Pragati is fantastic. But then I'm sorry I've not seen your this thing, but these two people I've been following right now. I think before children come, what is the university famous for? Where is it geographically located? That's what I used to do. I send basic information as a hyperlink saying, just read this part. And also in the beginning of the year, in grade 11th, end of the year grade 11th, or beginning of grade 12th, I do repeated surveys with my children. How the country choice has changed, has the course choice has changed, have the requirements of the course they're aspiring to do change. So that data helps me to connect them one-on-one with these people. And trust me, Kanchi's taken my call at 10 midnight to talk to a kid also. So let's respect everybody as humans here. And for universities, it's a request. I know sometimes it's a number game, but numbers don't serve neither schools, nor students, nor you. Because eventually when you go, you're just lost. You don't know whom to talk right now. So I think that's important to remember. So just human-centeredness is the entire approach.
Thank
So
you
you know
much.
what I'll say? Next 2 slides are done by Samir. Please give him a round of applause.
Thanks, Samir. Thank you so much. I just have a couple of suggestions to university reps. I've worked in a few of them, and this is very data-driven. When I joined a new university, I was told you have to do digital marketing, you have to pump in money, 100 leads a day will convert to 7 application starts and 3 submits and 1 student, that number, because universities are hiring consultants who are marketing specialists. Unfortunately, that doesn't work. I allowed them to do it for a year, only 20% conversion from the lead generated. The next year, I said, let me do it my way. 55 to 60% conversion, because there were no unnecessary rubbish leads created, which made no sense for any one of us. Please lead up to your management, explain to them this industry doesn't work like that. It works on relationships. 45% of my class comes from recommendations from school counselors. 45%. That's not funny. Yeah.
I mean, in my last avatar, we used to spend 28 lakh rupees a year on digital marketing, not 10 leads.
Yes.
In admission, not 10 leads.
Yeah. So those are leads who probably just clicked on your ad and then were not interested anymore. What are we going to do? It's just going to clog our systems. It's going to use up your telecallers. It's going to create so much work for you and for nothing. In the end, you'll still create the same class, the same size of class that you would have without doing all of this. So I think it's a collaboration. I said that in the morning as well. We have to partner. We have to write the right fit for every student and not really play the numbers game. They're kids, not products.
Thank you. Towards the end, I'll tell you my experience as to why college fairs are not being done in my school.
So,
You'll understand the conversations, which I'll pick up from Kachi's idea, actually.
So those who don't know me, I'm from Ahmedabad University, and I'm going to disagree with my colleague here a little bit. If you really do want to change college fairs into career fairs, I would actually go different. See, there are 2 different things that you need to do. One is, there is a requirement of people coming in and talking about the university to the grade 12th ones, but you need to do a partnership with maybe more universities, and please expose the grade 8 student. Because if the grade 8 student, throughout grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, actually engages in this long-term understanding of what they want to do, only then this whole thing can come true that it's a career fair. You cannot at the age of 17, put a switch on and say, okay, fine, now I know what I want to do. It is not possible. I think exactly the opposite, that I would love to actually interact with more grade 8 students, and I don't want to interact with grade 12 students. We have a team which will do the grade 12 students and tell them the information they need. But if you want really career development to happen, you need to start with grade 8 and do a partnership with universities to come and talk about what should they speak to a grade 8 student.
Anybody else wants to add? I think, Vikram is going to talk more in detail about exactly what you're talking about.
Hi, my name's Jacqueline. I'm a counselor. And one of the things that I get a lot of universities who reach out to me, but I will be honest with them and I say, well, I don't really have that many students who might be interested in your school, but if you want to come and talk to me, I would like to learn about your school because today I may not have a student, but tomorrow I might, and many of you might have some WhatsApp groups with other counselors, and somebody's asking, does anybody know a university that offers this or that offers that? And so I take that approach that it's not about the numbers, and I'm there, and I'm going to greet you when you come, and, I'm going to tell you all those other things, but I think that's really important. And to your point about preparing for college and all that, whenever a student comes and talks to me about, I want to study economics or I want to be a doctor, I always say why. And then I also say, it's not about ranking, it's about the fit, and university is what you make of it. Because it could be anywhere. You talked about some of your case study examples where university reps, said, well, you could take this one thing and you can get there, but the students have to do the research. But we know they don't read, they don't have time, their internet time is playing a game. It's not researching the universities, and the same even with the parents, because they just want the branding. So we have to at least knock down and show them all the different puzzle pieces. And it's hard to do all of those things. It really is hard. So I just tell the students, I'm not your secretary. This is a partnership. And, I'm going to tell you, I'll dump. I will give you whatever is in my head, good, bad, crap, you name it, everything. But you have to do something with it. You can't just say, okay, I'm taking it, and then she said this was the best one. No, I never say anyone is the best one, even where I went to university. I mean, I like it, but I don't tell, it's not for everybody, and that's what I tell people, so.
No, I think that's great, and I'm so happy because so many of us resonate with the same thought. And Parth, absolutely, whatever you said, whatever Kanchi said, I think what we were trying to do is lay out some challenges that we face, but we also have solutions for most of these. Yeah. So, for instance, the point that you said that we want to talk to grade 8 students. Absolutely, every university wants to talk to younger students. But is there a better way to engage with them than a college fair? Absolutely, yes. So that's what we are trying to arrive at. And we put things that work, and Vandana ma'am and I are going to go through them very quickly. And these are some of the experiences that we've had, and as counselors, you can take note. We can also send this presentation to you. But the first one, I think we've already spoken about. And there are many ways in which you can do this. One of the schools, and I think Vandana ma'am's school itself, when universities were being introduced, it was a task that was given to students. Students had to do the research of what is the university, where are they coming from. Actually, many schools in that COVID time used to give universities 5 minutes to talk about them and then have breakout rooms. Here we switched it completely, and the students had to talk about the university. So there were groups of students who were designated with finding the USPs of each university. I think the more you engage the students in the whole process of a college fair, I think they are more prepared. They at least know who's coming, and they had to present that to the rest of the class. So I think preparation before a fair is extremely important. Like we said, the basic things. What is Ahmedabad University? What is Plaksha? What is Shivnadar? What is Azim Premji? I think these are things that if students know, we don't have to repeat them again and again. I think we have more richer conversations. So you can have a month leading to a career fair and do different activities that work. Ma'am, you want to
I know, and when we designated the students, we also kind of roughly saw who is right fit for which university. And then the amount of happiness that it brought, the different energy that it brought in the entire student body, that the footfall increased, the excitement increased, and also a new energy, the students came with new perspective. So a lot of work done by the students. And another thing here was, why did we do that? We had only one intention, because in our experience, we've seen that if we've given 3 minutes or 5 minutes to a university, they would go on for 10 minutes talking about the university and then reducing the time for direct interaction, which is more meaningful. So this is also like somewhere students feel, no, we don't want to listen to that much. We want to directly interact. So this brought a very fresh energy in the school that the students did a lot of connection with the universities, did a lot of their own research, and they spoke about it with their peers. So the students had different excitement. After that, we also did a lot of pre-orientation, at least one pre-orientation with the student. I know we are all hard pressed of time. We have a lot of work to do. But if we are putting in so much of energy, time, resources, let us do a little more to make it a great takeaway event for all of us. And we collaborate with such great people like all great universities. So we as counselors, if we can do some pre-orientation with the students, talking about the great universities coming to our place, why they should attend the place. We can talk about some great alumni placements from our own school and how they are leading a very rewarding and a transformed life. Can we create that spark in them, sharing our own experiences being on their campuses, wonderful campuses, about their offerings, about very novel projects that will lead them to skill-based learning. I think these are some ways we can do orientation so that students come with excitement. And then we can also, at our school, we do the handouts to all the students who attend so that we give them the names of the universities. And in prior, we send the universities also, please give us 2-3 USPs of your institution, why a student is fit or why a student is misfit. So we give them the sheet in advance so that the students, even if they are not well researched, even if they don't want to visit the website or so, they still have some basic information about the universities, and they go to the respective tables from where he will come back with productive information that will benefit him. So some pre-orientations really help. Let us make it a goal-oriented event together. Instead of a market, whether me or you, I think we are all doing for the students. So if we together put in this energy, universities giving us some information, this is what we have launched new. Maybe universities can also talk, see, if we go to the student level, they are mainly concerned, I don't have math, I have math. Am I capable for this? Some universities say yes, some say no. So can we also create some crisp, succinct information before going to the fair, which students might not ask, but we still tell them, so that they go with very precise, because they come with trust, that I'm directly talking to a delegate, they will trust your voice too much. So it's like a pre-work done from both the ends will lead to a lot of productivity and excitement and a win-win.
A document like this can be universally created and shared with all schools, because the universities visiting schools are all the same. Most of the times it is the 20-30 universities that go to school fairs. So absolutely, ma'am. There's a comment from Teji, ma'am. I don't know whether she's still online. She says, Miss Tiffany, who was in Oberoi, had a great PPT. Each slide had information on each university, which major are known for, and the website address. We shared the same with parents, but our recent experience showed many students didn't read the presentation, neither went on the website. How do we solve this? I think we need a magic wand. But I think one of the ways in which you can do this is, like I said, of course, virtually sharing, all of us know that students don't read. Even, sometimes we don't read our emails. You can't blame students, right, for that. I think if you get some time, like I said, if a student is to create a presentation on a university and you reserve activity hour in, say, for example, on a Wednesday where each student is prepared and is presenting about a university, I think in-person engagement, it can solve maybe this problem, but I think we'll come to this point.
One more way is there to bring out this information. Students generally tend to ignore the information that comes to them easily, but as counselors, we do conduct the information sessions or our curriculum classes. I think those are the best times and the ethos where we can bring in this productive information. At least that's what I would do.
Absolutely. Coming to the third point, and we'll quickly finish so that we can have more discussion. One of the things, Poonam was in the session in the morning, and one of the unique things I found at her fair, I think it's extreme, like IC3 also talks about involving school teachers, and every teacher should be a 10% career counselor. I think one of the things she did was with every university representative, there was a school teacher standing for the entire 2 hours. And so I had a history teacher who was standing next to me, and by the end of it, he could counsel about liberal education and about Ahmedabad University. I think it's important for you to engage your school community into fairs. Not just we've seen the engagement, but it's only for operations. Welcome, registration, food and beverages. But I think how do we engage teachers more into conversations on career and college counseling? I think that's extremely important. And as the title suggests, how do we transform college fairs into career fairs? One very important way to do this is involving faculty from the university. And I know Vandana ma'am has an example to share. But typically, it is important for us to talk about careers. And, in the past, we've had a model that she'll talk about. But it's important for us, so if a student is interested in finance, not too many outreach representatives will be able to talk about what exactly is taught in a finance major. What are the careers that are available? Very few of us can actually talk a lot in detail. So it's important for you to reach out to universities to get this expertise. And trust me, as university representatives, I'm sure all of you agree with me, we are more than willing to collaborate with schools. Think of us as partners. We have faculty members who are extremely, they're diverse, they've had so much different experiences, and I think that resource can be used in fairs to do such sessions.
Right, so when he says, okay. So when Vikram says that involving college faculty or a university faculty, so we did that also. So in our fair, we invited Dr. Parag from Ahmedabad University. He was not the representative that time. And during the fair itself, we took out some time to send the students who were interested in finance and kinds of careers to the session with him. He did all the session with the students, almost around 100 students who were from commerce background. And after the fair, we take the feedback as well, after the fairs, from the students, the surveys. And we got to understand that almost 40-50% students said that this is what they were looking for. But also 40-50 said, thank God, this is not we were looking for. And both the situations, I would say, were win-win situations. They got timely awareness about what harm they were putting to themselves. So this is where I think we really have good friends, good university delegates, we have good relations. We just need to reach out to them that this is the larger group in my school. This is the most sought career. I want some really good faculty talking to them about it in the very interesting way, and we will really get a lot of support from them. Yeah. The model that we've worked was online, where we also had industry expert. We had it for 2 days, and the first day was totally to bring the students' minds and condition their minds to what is coming tomorrow, why I should go and meet this university. So the first day we had really great panel discussions. We had industry experts. We had someone from...
We had the HR head of Google coming and talking about the kind of skills they're looking for in their graduates. And I think this is one other untapped resource. See, most good universities have something called a CDC, Career Development Center. These are centers that help students transition from universities into workplaces or wherever they want to go, right? And we have people who can bring in industry to schools. I think it is the effort on the part of also the counselor to reach out to a university representative saying, can we find somebody? I have a lot of students who are interested in psychology. Can we get a practicing clinical psychologist to come and speak at my fair? And we've not got too many requests like this, frankly. If we do, I think, and of course, maybe my university will not be able to do it in all schools, but there are many universities. I think all of us will have to work together to make sure the students have the best experience.
Exactly. Even if it is resources like technology or resources like any logistics or maybe collaborations. As school counselors, I do not have a lot of connections with industry, to be honest. But we need to. And we have friends like all university, great university representatives who will be more than happy to, help us in getting those great people who will talk about the work they are doing, what they are doing, and what is needed in this. I think that is the most important information the students should go
And
away
one
with.
other panel that we did on the same day, we'll come to you, ma'am, sorry, is we did a panel of about 3 counselors from India who spoke about how to apply in Indian universities. And I think this is such a dilemma. Most students who want to go to the US, to UK, to Australia know about timelines, know about early applications, know that they can apply on predicted scores. But when it comes to India, everybody wants to write board exams and then apply. I think there was one session that we did on what is the timeline that you should look at for Indian universities. So I think that also worked very well.
We're talking about using resources. The low-hanging fruit at schools is our parents. Our parents are working in so many different fields of study. I mean, they have careers, right? So leveraging that, alumni of your school is another very important resource. Now, at Education USA, we have alumni fairs where we have obviously people who've been working in the field for a very long time, who've obviously studied in the US at some point. They are talking not just about their experience as a student, but they're talking about the careers that they're into, And I think kind of leveraging that, of course, we're also doing fields of study sort of programs with universities where we'll have a professor, we'll have a university rep, we'll have career services from US universities talk about something similar as well. So sometimes it's right here in front of us and you don't really have to look too hard.
Very relevant.
I'm sorry, we are actually all of us are stealing points right off Pragati ma'am's slide, but I think we'll just quickly go to the last two. So one is organized appointments. I think this is extremely important, counselors. If you have students who want to meet a particular university and spend 15 minutes, book appointments. If it's a 4-hour career fair, have 2 hours of appointed meetings with 8 parents who are very interested. And then you have an open fair where anybody can come and talk to us. And finally, using school resources. This is one thing that, again, I want to talk about. And this was a point that was touched in the morning. Please don't charge us for attending career fairs. I think you have resources that are available in the school. You have classrooms that are beautifully created. We don't need food. We'll pay for the food if you want. But the point is, you are creating barriers for universities who can't pay. You're actually creating that. So I would recommend that, if we collaborate, I think we are happy to bring in other universities. We have friends. All of us are very connected. If you call us, we'll definitely tell Laksha to join. So I think use us as people who can help you put together a career fair rather than going to someone, who you don't need. Sorry, yes, Pragati ma'am, we'll go to the last slide.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm speaking as a teacher first and a counselor second. So when you're going in for fairs or you're requesting for an appointment with grade 12th, please be mindful of calendars, academic calendars. You can't come to me in the end of August and say, I want to meet your grade 12th. Not happening. Half yearly is around, you're going to ask for predicted scores. So please.
Thank you so much, Soma. I think, we really need to take this point. And I will, go through this very fast. This is a very traditional way of converting a college fair into a career fair. 25 years, all the experience which were coming from everywhere actually is here. I'll pick up from Kachi's point first. Build your relationships with the counselors, actually. So when universities approach us and we say, as ma'am was saying, that I am happy to meet you, they never come back to us. They say, no, if you have student presentations, then only will I meet you. Otherwise, sorry, I can't come to your school. Make the effort to know the counselor, know the school. The counselor's job is just to do counseling. So even if I'm meeting 10 universities in a day, it's my job. Whereas a student's job, as Soma is saying in grade 12, is to attend those classes along with university admissions work, right? So they are really hard-pressed for time. Secondly, what Parth was saying is that use your younger students. So that's where a career day concept comes up. It's a huge marketing tool, guys. Very, very easy to do. As ma'am was saying, use your parent body. They are the low-hanging fruits, right? So when we do a careers day, it's a career exhibition. All of us have SUPW classes, cultural activities classes, service classes, leadership classes. Every school has something with different names. Get the students to prepare a career snapshot. 200 students in grade 8 and 9 prepare career snapshots, give them 5 links of international and domestic, universities, websites, career websites, they will come up with a snapshot. They will understand what that career means, and they will also know there are 1,000 other careers in the world because there are 200 more students researching along with them. Your career exhibition is ready. There are 200 charts. Give them manila papers, give them sketch pens, your charts are ready. 1 lesson, 2 lessons max. Okay? Career talks, there comes your idea of using your parents. All this can be done, 5 minutes, I'll finish off. All this can be done in one single day. Use your school resources. We have lots of classrooms and halls, right? So 1 classroom becomes your career exhibition, 10 classrooms become your career talks. Those are your 10 parents, all happening simultaneously. College fair are all our university colleagues here, right? So they are given their own 2-3 rooms. They set up their fairs. And then the college fair is not actually a college fair. Every university there is conducting a workshop, not talking about the university. Universities get marketed automatically. How many of you remember who was the speaker in the morning? Which university? Come on, let's hear. Which university? Chitta. Kreya. So the moment we see a professor in action, we remember the name of the university automatically. Counselors, you're worse than students. Okay? So universities, don't talk about your universities. It's there on the website. We set up 10 rooms, 10 workshops. I've just put in a few samples, depending on what your specialization is. One single day, parent-teachers meeting day, have your careers day. Huge marketing tool for all of us as schools. Universities get parent and student audience both. Career exhibition is for grade 8 and 9, so your younger groups awareness is targeted. College fair is for 10, 11, 12. That's where your exposure and knowledge becomes more important. And it's one single day. Preparation beforehand, I completely agree with Vikram. We are all guilty of not preparing beforehand, including me. So we need to do a bit of more prep work. A model towards which we are moving as a school is, like we have a university fair now coming up. And what is it? It's a lunch meeting with 22 students. So it's 20 universities meeting just 20 students and 2 extra who would just be around just in case of some gaps. So they are having and sitting and having lunch across the table with one student for 40 minutes. How much the university gets to know the school and the school gets to know the student, I think 40 minutes is a long time, right? Until and unless you are looking for those email addresses and numbers, it really works. When we as counselors say that we are happy to meet you, please come over. We are genuinely happy to meet you and get to know you more. Because that's when we will be talking about you when we are sitting with our students and parents in that office. So we'll know that, okay, this is a great university for art and design, or this is a great place where this professor has, a specialization in music, and he was playing this in the IC3 conference. I saw him there. These are the conversations, and parents get convinced with it. They rely on us as a huge resource. So take your time to even know us, rather than shying away when a counselor says that, I want to meet you, but I'm sorry, I can't do a student presentation. Yeah. Just one last thing, which universities would be really keen on. We are coming up with the idea of giving universities the opportunity to create 5-minute videos, not advertising videos, but about your university, which I play at the beginning of my class every week. So they get to know one university every week. So across 30 weeks, they get to know 30 universities.
Please share them with all other counselors.
Hi, so my name is Shikha, and I come in from Cathedral and John Connon School in Mumbai, and I'm the new counselor, relatively new to this space as well. But I thought more than just university fairs, and what may really work is a student ambassador program. Universities should actually have student ambassadors. So if, maybe suppose I'm going to give an example, say from our school. IE University from Spain has an ambassador program every year with our school. They pick 2 children, primarily from 11th and 12th. So those are the ones who are actually looking at what they want to do after. And these 2 children are the ones who actually talk about the university to their friends, So from a 12th grader, it'll go down to the 11th grader, and that's how they get to know. So even for our Indian universities, if we have someone from Plaksha, if we have someone from Ahmedabad University, our students being associated with one of your faculty as faculty members, working on a research project because they love doing research. Our kids, science fields, very focused. They're going to all the different organizations to do research. Why not just do it with an actual faculty member? And if we get those opportunities, pick the best. I'm saying pick one or pick two and do it from all our schools. Then you will see that the really interested lot comes to you. So that would be my suggestion.
No, absolutely, Shikha.
Thank you so much,
for that
Shikha. I think
point.
research idea is great.
Yeah. No, this is, I think, where's Kshitija, ma'am? I think we are, and I'm telling you, every counselor I actually go and talk to, most of them want research projects for kids and as universities. But I think, summing this all up, can we go to the next slide, please? 1 more minute? Okay, great. Actually, we wanted to spend some time to create an ideal model, but I think we've got enough food for thought now. And as we said in the morning also, one size fits all doesn't work. Your school is different. Your students are different. Their awareness levels is different. Universities are different. So you can pick what works for you from this. But any questions, any comments? We have 1 last minute. Yes.
So I think a lot of solutions have already come out. My name is Charushila, and we've been, of course, in this space also for the longest time in career guidance. But taking a bit from Shikha's point there, I think peer mentoring can also work very well, because once again, just like parents are very willing to share information, there are peer mentors that can be created between seniors and juniors. I've seen that in my Montessori classroom at some point, where there's vertical integration happening. So I'm sure your 12th graders and 11th graders can actually educate the 8th and 9th graders as well. And that can save time for universities who want to spend time with 11th and 12th graders, and then they can go on sharing that information with the younger lot. That way you are not slotting time for every grade, for that matter, in that sense.
Absolutely. And one last point, if I may end this with, as counselors, career counselors, can I please request all counselors to visit every university in India, at least the ones that you like. Don't wait for an invitation from a university. Please take time. Please take time in visiting universities. It's extremely important. Because when you visit a university, you understand the culture, the students, the faculty, and you can create groups, you can create tours. I mean, we are happy to sort of see how we can work with you to create those, but I'm saying spend time on that, because it's extremely important. And as university representatives, we are happy to create calendars with you. So for example, if there is a group of schools in Indore or in Dehradun or in remote parts of the country or in tier 2 cities, let's work with each other. We have many WhatsApp groups where all of us are now a part of. So let's use them to optimize resources and work with each other to be more effective. But thank you so much. And we are around, and have a good conference for the rest of the conference.
Thank you so very much.